Former President Donald Trump now says he'll do, quote, whatever is necessary to help select a new House Speaker. And some members of Congress say he's actually considering traveling to Capitol Hill next week. Two Republican lawmakers are vying for the position so far. Others might get in as they actively gauge whether they have support before they make that decision about jumping in. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan both announced their bids yesterday. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us now. Scott, the race is on. Jordan versus Scalise. Who else might come in?
Kevin Hern of Oklahoma has expressed some interest in running and says he's been doing outreach to other members, but that's just the floor, not the ceiling. Ultimately, if somebody had a glide path to 217 or 218 votes right now, they'd be having votes right now. And there's a sense, Bob, I think a growing sense, that there are variables still to play out here. We know that the surrogates for Jim Jordan, including one of his surrogates from Ohio, is doing outreach to some of those New York Republicans today, trying to corral them into Jim Jordan's camp. Jim Jordan's camp has a sense there's a lot of work to be done to try to reach those Main Street or center-right Republicans. I talked to a surrogate for Steve Scalise, who said the same thing. There needs to be outreach done to capture some of those Main Street Republicans or center-right Republicans. So you can see where the battlefield is, right? This is where the votes are needed. This is where the votes are uncertain. But this is an early stage of a battle that almost guarantees twists and turns.
Scott, it's one thing to win the vote next week among the Republicans in private. They call that the conference vote, right? And there's another question about winning on the floor. Does anybody have the necessary votes right now to win on the floor? Who's closest in your estimation based on your reporting?
I think ultimately no one's close. And I think that's why there's a sense here, Bob, that not only could this go well beyond Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, this could get closer to that November 17th deadline for a government shutdown than some people expect. Not that it'll run right up on the deadline, but head in that direction. Now, there are reports, including from some members of Congress's social media feeds, that Donald Trump's considering to be part of this Tuesday candidates forum House Republicans are having. And I talked to one close ally of Steve Scalise who told me in a pretty muted phrase, yeah, I don't think that's going to be helpful. There are so many possible permutations that can complicate this race. But based on my sense of it, two things jump out, Bob. First of all, let's talk about the Republicans. Speaking to surrogates of Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise, both reaffirm that there's a major mystery box here. How do those suburban Philadelphia, New York City, and Los Angeles Republicans move on this? Because right now, none is declaring emphatic endorsements of either candidate. Democrats sent out a message to their members today, an email from Catherine Clark, the Democratic whip, that everybody needs to stay a walk away at maximum from the House floor next week. You got to stay in close proximity because every vote counts. They're keeping, Bob, a particularly meticulous nose count as next week begins.
And Scott, finally, in just about a minute here, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney of Wyoming wrote a scathing op-ed about outgoing House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Does she have any influence about how that McCarthy wing and the Trump allies are going to play their own cards in the coming days?
Yeah, it's a good question, but I'll also note, in addition to her criticisms of Kevin McCarthy, she had some pretty unbridled criticisms of Jim Jordan, saying that Jim Jordan would not be a suitable leader of the U.S. House for the future of democracy. You'll recall Jim Jordan was one of those members Republicans tried to appoint to the House Select January 6th committee, but was removed at the urging of Democratic leadership because they thought he was a relevant witness to some of what Donald Trump was planning and did January 6th. We'll see what influence Liz Cheney can have on some of these Republican members now, Bob, but she certainly does channel the voice of any number of Americans who have some concerns.
Scott MacFarlane, thank you very much.